All right. Now, so hopefully, again, that in combination with your one-off services, you're going to then also develop a, I would say no, absolutely no less than four, at the very least 4 weeks. I tend to feel like these types of programs should be 6, 8 to 12 weeks at the most. When you're getting past 12 weeks, it's a lot. It's pretty intense. The sales process for a one-off service is very different than it is for a program like this, right? Because the one-off service, it's transactional. Someone sees you on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, here's your podcast, however, you're out there, right, in the world and saying, hey, I'm here for some to assist. And they say, oh, I like your energy, cool. And then they PayPal you or Venmo or Cash App or whatever you're doing. And then that's it. That you give them their service, they've given you the money, and that's the transaction. That's a great way for people to get to know you and get to know how it feels to work with you. Depending upon the amount of money you want to make, you know, it can be it can be pretty intense, right? To get that business going to where you actually want it to be to replace your income or whatever we're translating it, okay? So to get to the desired income that you want. Now, there's many ways to do this. I mean, you can grow your YouTube channel to the point where it's like, you know, making with some of the larger channels. I mean, I know plenty of people that are making $10,000 a month to $20,000 a month, and they've got, depends upon, you know, they got about 30,000, maybe 50,000 subscribers. I mean, if you're doing specific videos that have a high viewership and have, they're very ad friendly, you're going to make a ton of money. You're going to make a ton of money. Definitely when you get to the 100K, 200, 300, 500 and up, you know, those people are making anywhere between 40 to 80,000. I know some YouTubers that have like million subscriber channels, and they're just making so much money every month from advertising revenue. It's not even funny. And then not to mention affiliate marketing and all this jazz. However, unless you're a YouTube plant or you just happen to go viral really quickly, it's not that easy to get to that point. YouTube is a great place to cultivate a base and cultivate a group of people that are going to be interested in you and your product and your program. Great space for that. Instagram can also be a great space, although I've found, well, to me, I don't know that many people that are that successful as far as individual readings just through Instagram only. I think you have to operate Instagram, to me, like you would a YouTube. So there's a lot of Instagram Live involved. There'd be some IGTV involved. Again, people need to get to know you. And the latest income generator, honestly, right now is TikTok. And, you know, that'll probably be the next social media that I decide to conquer will be TikTok. 1-minute videos, just keep it coming. Just keep it coming, you know. And then when you get 1,000 subscribers, you can go live, and then you can super chats, yada, yada, yada. TikTok is great also, though, for people that are wanting to sell hard goods. I've noticed that a lot of people buy hard goods off of TikTok. I've yet to get a reading off of TikTok. Now, I haven't put a whole lot of effort into it, but I'm just saying I've had people that asked me for readings, but they wanted it for free. So that's not really doing me much good. So anyway, you can have all this. And then there's the other method. I'm going to talk about some of these sales scripts today, and then we're going to dig next week into the process itself. Like, what is that buyer's journey? And then I think the following week we'll talk about social media, like ramping up your social media, and we should be just about done. So let me move my salad. Excuse me. When you're doing this type, and when I'm talking about this type of thing, which is a program, these programs I'm talking about are $1,500, $3,000, $5,000 programs. It's what we call high ticket. High ticket can be anywhere from, like I said, about $1,500. Some people consider it. Some people consider that medium, a mid offer. There's some high ticket out here programs that are like $10,000. No kidding. So when we're working one-to-one, we will price your program, if this is what you wish to do, appropriately for what I believe the market is going to bear. I've seen enough of these, and you've probably seen them. You'll have, some gut feel. I will tell you, though, if you come to me and tell me your program is going to be $800, I'm going to be like, no. That's a workshop. That's a retreat. We've got to charge our worth. Not unless this program is only 4 weeks, like in length, 6 max. But no. So high ticket, this is what we do. This is, I would say, the best script that I have found and that I use in order to take someone through the journey to close. I book a 15-minute call with them. Now, there's other ways to get this information that I'm going to show you here. But the concept is they see you, you DM back and forth. Hey, would you mind getting on a 15-minute call after you find out what their pain points are? And then you get them on a call. You go through this, and then you'll see we're going to schedule them for a consultation afterwards. I want you to remember we talked about boundaries. One of the boundaries you have in your sales conversations is you keep your doctor frame. You are the subject matter expert, even if you don't feel like you are. You are. And this person is coming to you. You've brought them in for you to assist them in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Okay? So this is geared around towards light workers, training up light workers. I gave it to you in Word, and if you need it in a different format, please tell me, like Google Docs or something like that. I gave it to you this way so that you can change it to fit what your niche is. If you don't know your niche yet, that's okay. We're going to figure it out pretty quick. So this is for the 15-minute call. Hey, it's Lisa here. I've got a note in my calendar that we have a quick call right now. Is that right? Okay, great. Thanks for being on time. So appreciate it. We only have about 10 to 15 minutes, or this is 10 minutes here. I say 10 to 15. And I have another call right after you. So we'll need to keep to time. Is that okay? You guys can take yourselves off mute because I want this to be a little interactive. Why do you think that I put it that way right off rip?
To be clear on whether or not that person is interested, I would say. No?
Yep.
And also not to drag it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because, you could tell even in person, you could tell right off top if someone is really interested and if they're kind of doubting it, if not really serious, I think.
Well, I'm only saying we have 10 minutes, and I have another call right now, not so I can determine if they're interested or not, but I'm keeping my doctor frame. I'm setting this up right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm busy, right? I want to keep the professionalism right there. Now, you could do it in a nice way because we are in the spiritual realm. You could do it in a nice way. But I'm telling you that if you kind of leave it open, this is going to end up being a 50-minute, Reiki session by the time you're done.
Right.
So you want to keep it 10 minutes. And this way, Kim, honestly, I'll know whether or not I want to move them forward. Remember, this is up to you. The beauty of doing this work, you get to choose who you work with, right? You don't have to worry about who, HR or somebody else hiring somebody that you cannot stand.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to work with them, you don't have to. If you're not feeling their energy, you don't have to. You are perfectly well within your rights to say, nah, I don't think this is a fit. Period. So I'm setting it up so I'm saying 10 to 15 minutes because if I'm not feeling them or they're not giving me the answers that I'm looking for here, I'm going to let them go. And no harm, no foul. It's 10 to 15 minutes. Okay? And so we let them know what we're doing here today. So my job today or what we're doing today is really simple. I'm going to ask you a couple questions to work out if or how. So this is not a given. If or how we can help you. We always use the royal we as well. Okay? So I don't care if you're solo dolo, it's a we. Okay? We can help you. If we can't, I'll let you know politely and try to point you in the right direction. Now we can say I, because now, so first we kept it like, if we can help you, then cool. If I feel I can help, we'll book in another time to talk about how. Is that okay? Okay, great. Let's get started. This whole where am I calling you from or where are you calling from or where am I calling you at or whatever, that's just if you don't know their time zone or, they can start a little introduction about where they are. Hey, how'd you get there? Like, are you from there? Whatever. This is the meat and potatoes here of this clarity call because all I'm doing right now is I'm just making sure, first of all, I'm vetting them. I'm giving them initial pass. I'm like trying to figure out how interested are you really? Does this matter? So, for instance, Tracy, your offer is what? What are you helping people with?
Narcissistic abuse relationships, behavioral patterns to help release any negative, I guess align their chakras as well, release any toxic energy.
Okay, we're going to work on these offers next week. I help people what? Or I help women do what, Tracy?
Who, you?
No,
Or just
you.
this?
You.
Oh,
Like you're
oh,
finishing that statement. I help people.
overcome narcissistic abusive relationships.
Perfect. Okay. So I help people overcome narcissistic abusive relationships or the effects of narcissistic abuse. How about that? That's not bad.
Okay.
So your questions are going to be geared to make sure this person actually really wants help and that they actually want it now, right? So that's what we're going to be trying to find out in about 3 to 6 questions. Not a lot. This is not the Spanish Inquisition here. We're just trying to find out, do we really get a glimpse as to do we want to work with them? So for me, my questions are, tell me what's going on in your journey right now that makes this a perfect time for us to be talking. Or what brought you here today? Why is this a great time in your light worker path journey for you to be wanting to work with a mentor? For Tracy, it could be, tell me what's going on in your life right now. Why are you here? Why is this a perfect time for us to be talking? Okay. So you gear that towards whatever it needs to be geared towards.
Gotcha.
If they're from the funnel, meaning if you had like a ClickFunnels thing or whatever, out of all the people in the world, what drew you to us? You don't necessarily have to ask that question. That is very optional until we get your business up and going where you've got like all this advertising and da-da-da-da-da. The next question, tell me about yourself. Now for me, it's who do you help and how do you deliver your coaching or deliver your healing or whatever the case is. For Tracy, it would be, so tell me about yourself. How long was this relationship? Was there physical, emotional, mental, sexual abuse? Just tell me a little bit. Don't let them sit too long in that. And then how long have you been out? What I would ask. So you see what I'm saying? Like, we need to gear it towards where we're going. Now, not all of us here on this call are going to be ready to gear these questions, but I want you to start thinking about what your program, if you desire to have a program, what does that look like? Because this is the process. I have done a lot of sales processes. This works. These 2 scripts alone are worth tens of thousands of dollars. I kid you not. What's the gap between where you're at now in your journey and where you would like to be? I think that could even stand for Tracy. What do you feel is missing right now that you need the most help with? You can change that if you want. You could leave it. And then finally, last and very important question. Is this a now thing or a later thing? If they answer sometime soon, then ask them to prioritize it 1 to 10. Why do I want to know that? Kim.
You would want to know that because if it's not if they're not given an immediate desire to change, then they may not really be serious. Like if it's not a sense of urgency type of feel, it couldn't mean that much to them at that point.
Yes, exactly.
Regression.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this, now see, ladies, this is the cold part of this whole process. This is the sales cold 3D part. And the reality of it is I do not have the time to expend a ton of energy and put that energy into people that are not interested in changing.
Right. Right. That part. Yeah.
And neither do you. Okay. So ask them to prioritize it, and depending upon the intonation of that answer and all that jazz, I'm going to figure something out. So I said it, so after they answered it, I thank them, and I said at the start, my job today was to ask you a bunch of questions to see if or how we can help. I promised if we couldn't, I'd let you know politely and try to point you in the right direction. And I said if we could, we'd book another appointment to talk about how. And so if you're moving them forward, then this is, so the good news is after hearing a bit more about your story and where you're trying to go, and a lot of what you're telling me is what I hear from some of our most successful clients, or something like these are the exact types of problems that we solve. If it's a no right here, I will say, so listen, I feel where you're at. Like, I get it. There's a few steps I think before I can really come in and be effective for you that you may need, that you may want to consider taking. And then, have whatever that is, like maybe a favorite YouTube channel or a favorite Instagram person or whatever the case is, and make sure with that person if they're doing individuals things. Because I know a lot of us know readers, or you will get to know readers, or you will get to know astrologers, you'll get to know coaches, you'll get to know other people. Just make sure that when you're, even if it's somebody within our group, that you talk to them first before you just refer them. I've gotten some referrals. I'm like, really? I thought we was friends, because this here was not working. That wasn't good. You ain't my friend. So just make sure, okay? So just have something in the back pocket, because there are some people that you're not going to be able to work with. I don't take everybody. I don't. I would love to schedule another call with you so we can dig a little deeper into what needs to be worked on in this process and accelerate your growth to where you're seeking. Is that something you'd like to do? And if they say yes, so the next step is for us to book another conversation for us to talk about how you find it. You find some space for the consultation, which I'm about to show you. And then I let them know what we're going to focus on. I don't always give them 3 things. I like to leave them with what is it going to look like in a year's time if we decide to work together. What will your life look like in a year's time? Okay? But it won't hurt to say all 3 of these things. Because you want them to envision a solution, envision themselves free from whatever crap that they're dealing with. You want to set the stage where we're going to talk about the here and now, what's working and what's not, so that you can make a good assessment about where we're at, a thorough one. And then finally, still setting the stage where you're not necessarily accepted in the program, because they're not. That you know where they have been, where they want to go. And then the obstacle portion, typically the only obstacle is money. Just being honest. If you have a Facebook group that you've been creating, you can add them to this on the call. We will talk about social media next time. And then we kind of close with this, like basically setting the stage that we're going to take it seriously. We're preparing you to get into action with purpose. And, you know, during the conversation, I hear that a lot. It's a really common problem. Yep, I hear that all the time. Oh my goodness, you're just, you know, I get it. This is what happens, right? So just validating them. Okay, that's the 15-minute call. Let me hurry up here because I'm just taking too long. And then this is the consultation call. This is where we get to the meat and potatoes. This is your sales call. That other one is just the tee up. This is your sales call. This script, you can change everywhere highlighted in yellow. I'm going to say except for 1 or 2 places, and I'll tell you why. Now, I haven't created the consultation video yet. I'll be doing it. But I wanted to get the script out for you because I'm going to work with somebody and role play it and put it out here for you. You need to change your target audience. Okay? This is an offer statement. I help mine at the time when I first created this. I help lightworkers identify, clarify, and launch into their purpose. Now it's prosper in their purpose. At one point it was monetized. It'll probably change. Again, some of you all are not ready to be here yet. We will get you here in a couple of weeks, but I want you to start thinking about what your offer is. Who do you help? What do you help them do? People respond to health, wealth, and relationships the most. Health, wealth, and relationships the most. So somehow you can improve that. They respond to that the quickest. So it should be like 10 to 15 max words, not long. This whole pre-call thing is probably one of the most important things you'll do when you're getting ready to get on a call. Know who they are. So look them up on Facebook, look them up on LinkedIn, Google them, find them, look them up on IG. Find some stuff that you really love about them. You're about to spend 45 minutes to an hour with them. And you're about to start talking to them about investing in themselves through you. $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. So you need to get to know them. Because you're going to be working with them if you decide to go forward. When we create our business plan, you got to review it and remember why you're getting on the phone, right? What's your why? We're going to work on that too. This magic minute is that you just take a moment, you take 60 seconds or so, and you just meditate. You visualize their name. You visualize them saying yes. You visualize them being excited. You visualize all of that. And there's a few affirmations here. If you don't like them, you can put some more in there. It's totally fine. And then when you're ready, give them a call. When you get on the phone, now it could be, it could also be, is this? That's right. It could also be on Zoom. I do all of mine on Zoom. If you guys do them on Zoom and you want me to review them, then you'll do them on Zoom and record them and then get me the MP4, the recording. Okay, I'll be more than happy to do that. So you got to build rapport, get their name, the name, and be curious. Find something that you found in your research to connect with them. Match their energy. If they're super bubbly, I don't care if you're not super bubbly, figure it out. Get super bubbly. If they're rather sedated and reserved, then you need to be rather sedated and reserved. Okay? Not completely out of your character, but if they're high energy, be high energy. If they're low energy, take it down 10 notches. Because otherwise they're going to feel overwhelmed. You've got to mirror them. And so this is the next part. Well, obviously I want to be respectful of your time. Make sure that we get the most of the call. I want to make sure we get full clarity on your situation, what's working, what's not, where you want to be, and so we can start to figure out some steps to get you there. And if that's something I'm confident we can help you with, we definitely will, and I'll let you know what that looks like. But if not, I'll let you know that too, so we can point you in the right direction. And obviously we'll have a little fun. Okay? Remember, please laugh, ha-ha, hee-hee, jokey-jokey. Okay? Because otherwise it's going to be a long half hour, 45 minutes to an hour. And if you're recording it, I don't record all mine, but if you are recording it, you do need to let them know it's recorded. And you could just record it and say, so I don't miss anything. Is that okay? Great. So let's start off with the most important question. For me, it was like, what's not working in your life as a light worker right now? Sometimes I say, what's not working in your journey towards your purpose? What's not working in you being able to, in your journey, in being able to work in your purpose or whatever, full time. But that's the general gist of it. Where that's highlighted in yellow, you change it for yours. You figure out what is the best question to ask, and you change it to that. Then we got to open up the problem. So there's like 5 main problems here. Identify what your 5 main problems of your person, of your clients are. Okay? You might not be ready for it quite yet. Some of you will be ready for it. But let's start thinking in this way, because this is where we're heading. And then ask them specific questions to open up the problem. So there's some examples in here. For me, it's when do you first begin on this light worker journey? I look at these questions. Sometimes I ask them verbatim. A lot of times it reminds me, and it's like a tickler. It just like reminds me where I want to start. What obstacles have you faced? How does not walking in your purpose fully make you feel? That is a bomb question. How does not walking in your purpose fully, full time, make you feel? It will drudge up some stuff. And I want that drudged up, because our humanity will not change unless we're uncomfortable. Our higher self is all about it. Great. But our humanity won't change. Am I not sharing this document? I am so sorry, y'all. I hope y'all could have brought it up. I apologize for not bringing it up. Okay? This is the perfect consultation document that I sent. The second one. Where have you gone? Like, I want to know what they've learned about spirituality. So, so Tracy, it could be like, what How did you find out about what a narcissist is? Do you feel like you're an empath? Um, wow. Stuff like that. Like, how has this abuse, the residual effects of this abuse impacted your life? Kind of questions like that. So you want to come up with about 8 to 11 of them. And really the last question should be, if you don't take steps towards living in your purpose or whatever your offer is, what will that mean for you? Now, these next questions are expansions. So if there's a topic or a question that you get an answer to and you feel like there's a lot more back there, dig a little deeper. I've dug a little deeper and then figured out I didn't think I could help some particular people. Some of them have so much shadow work to do, I can't bring you on because you got too much shadow work. Sometimes I miss it, and I find out later they had more shadow work. I'm like, okay, we're here now. Nothing I can do. But really, a lot of that is shadow work. I find that's a main one. If they're really into, like, dark magic, I won't take them on if I find out that's what they're into, because I don't want anything to do with that. So there's certain things that I just won't do. Certain ways and these expanding on some of those question answers that they give me help a lot. So here we've opened up the problem, and then we let them know, okay, I'm clear on where you're at and what's not working. Now I want to shift gears to look at where you want to be. Let's say we started working together today and we were able to show you how to identify, clarify, and get you doing the work. Get you firmly rooted and grounded in who you are. Master yourself and finally manifest your purpose, providing for your person so that you could finally, whatever, right? Like, you take these yellow parts and you change them to fit you. And you'll probably change this 1,000,000 times before you have your first call. And then you'll change it again and again until you finally get to one that you kind of like. I'm literally looking at this now going, I'm going to change again. That's okay. You find better words to use. Better words come out of your mouth just naturally. So basically you're saying, let's say we started working together and I was able to show you how to, whatever my offer is, but a little bit expanded, so that you could finally, whatever the positive side is after after this process, what would that look like for you, say, 1 year from now? Remember, I told you or I asked you to go think about what your life would look like a year from now. And then I get specific in case they didn't think about it or in case they've forgotten about it. What would you be doing differently? Who would you be impacting? How much money would you be making? And then expand on the feelings. Everything is fact and feeling, because you make your decision based on feelings. You stick to your decision based on facts. So I got to let the feelings come in. How are you going to feel after this? How are you going to feel a year from now? What's it going to feel like to actually be living the life that you always imagined? Then I ask my qualifying questions. If you had the steps to finally fix this, but to get there you had to do something different and get out of your comfort zone, would you do it or would you stay on the path that you're on? I just tell folks, listen, I'm going to stretch you. I'm going to take you out of that comfort zone. Like my girl Iyanla says, you're probably not going to like me at some point during this process. Right? So, ask it how you wish, but ask that general concept. Do you consider yourself coachable? That is so important. And it's so important to ask them that. And following up with knowing that what you're doing right now is not getting you there. And to get there, you might have to hear things you don't want to hear. because it forces them, like, to come out of their mouth and say, yes, I'm coachable. Yes, I'm going to listen to you. Yes, I'm going to follow your lead or your advice. Because then if somebody comes back and they ain't coachable, and I remind them, excuse me, sir or madam, remember you told me you was coachable. What happened to that person? So you want them to agree to these things out of their own mouth. The human brain needs to hear the human mouth say something in agreement in order for it to believe it and decide that it's true and decide that it's going to go along with the process. Every journey has ups and downs. Are you ready to remain positive to brave as you brave the ups and downs in the journey, knowing it's the only true way to get there? I fashion that a little different because I think it's a little hyperbolic, but we all have ups and downs in this journey. All that I ask is you remain positive, and if there at any point you are not feeling positive, reach out to me or somebody in the community. Yeah. So, here's a recap. So basically, okay, just to recap and make sure we're on the same page, you should be taking notes. You should have all of the stuff that is going wrong written down. All of it. Verbatim. Repeat it back. And that's why we set up this call today, because the reality is you want to be, and whatever this is a year from now. I say now. So, and then if we work together, if we decide to work together a year from now, this is what you see yourself doing. I do not forget to add in that, so if we decide to work together, I typically say today. Keep planting those seeds of, if we decide to work together, should we decide to work together, if we decide today to start our journey, however you want to phrase it, but I want you to keep planting those seeds. Because after the human brain that has heard it multiple times, it's going to either desire it or it's going to figure out a way to make it happen, or both. Okay? Then ask, do you have it right? And if you're taking good notes, and repeat it back to them in the words they use, in their own vernacular, their own vocabulary. Yup. Perfect. Great. This is the part where you decide here and now, are you going to work with this person or not? Honestly, I've probably decided way back when. I do let them get through their year. And then I say, you know what? That's an awesome, goal. I just don't think I'm the person to get you there. And I'll tell you why. And then I let them know if it's shadow work or if they're into dark magic. And I'll just straight up tell them, I'm not into dark magic. I don't have any problem saying that because I'm not. The dark magic is necessary for balance. I'm not into it. It's so perfectly okay. So this is the part where either you're going to cut bait or we're going to continue fishing. Start telling a story about yourself before you have clients. Or start telling a story about yourself, period. And relate your experience, if it's relatable, to their experience so that we bond. And then ask permission to break down the program, what it looks like, and how it works. And then here's your pitch. This is everything you're doing, the main shifts you're going to help them make. I'm going to help you go from not being able to say no to your ex-narc or whatever, not being able to set proper boundaries with your ex-narc, to learning how the gray rock technique or whatever technique you're using, and loving yourself enough to not allow them to walk over you, whatever the case is. Explain the shifts, right? These are the feels. Explain some of the program. What are we doing? Is it modules, Q&A, whatever the case is, right? How you're going to have access to it. So that's how it works. But in order for it to work, there are 3 things you have to do. There's some of this that I don't do anymore, and I'm reading it again, and I'm like, you know what? I need to do it again. I think I do this. You have to be ready to take action outside your comfort zone. You have to be coachable and take feedback. And you have to remain positive as we go through this journey together. Now, I just have to ask you up front, is there any reason you would not be able to do those 3 things? Most people say, well, absolutely not. Some people will say, I don't know if I can remain positive. Yep, completely understand. So if you're feeling a little down, please reach out to one of us or me. We're here to help you and support you. Okay? This is even before you have a whole community. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Next week. Great. Does this sound like what you need? Get their affirmative. Do you have any questions about how it works? Get their affirmative. Would you like me to go over the investment for the program and how we get you started? I'm going to now give you some sales psychology. I just asked 4 questions. What most likely is the answer to each of those 4 questions? Yes. I've now gotten you the habit of saying yes 4 times. Okay? This is why we do these questions. All right? Now, this whole pricing portion, I don't do it all the time. I do say this a lot. This is a full solution. It's not just a Band-Aid.
Am I the only one just, excuse me, I'm sorry. Am I the only one just seeing the blue screen? I only see a blue screen.
I only have the blue screen, but I went to the actual
I
email.
only have a blue screen as well.
Okay. Yeah, and I can't even pull up the email, Doc, so I'm going to need you to send it to me another way, please.
Okay. I'm sorry that you can't see it. It'll make sense once you can, once we get it over in Google Docs. I'll get it in Google Docs for you and get it over to you. Okay?
Yeah.
So I asked some of this, and then say, so let me ask you, getting to that, whatever your dream is, what would it be worth to you? I don't do that part either. Because, I did it at first, but it was just weird and awkward for people to say how much they thought it was worth. So you could skip that. I go to what the full price of the program is, because at some point the full price is actually when people come back to me, sometimes, most of the time, when people come back to me after a while, I'm like, okay, well, it's that, because, we're like 3 months after you had said you wanted to be a part of the program. Unless they've, especially if they've not kept up with me at all. I don't see them on YouTube. I don't see them nowhere. Then, no, we're doing this. So the full price is this, and that includes everything we went over. And then I do say something similar to this, but for the clients who are committed to making this change right now and investing in themselves. Okay? I offer whatever discount you want to say. And then I take $2,000 off and I get the price down to $29.97. I would use something similar to this verbiage even if you don't use this verbiage. And then if it makes it easier, however many payments you're going to offer, I would say try not to make the payments longer than what the program length is. Okay? Because it gets kind of weird. Try not to, but go with your best judgment. I'd give them the offer, and then this is the most important part. I'm going to leave this objection handling because I'm tired, and I'm pretty sure you are too. And objection handling is a whole conversation, and I'll make a whole video on that. The most important thing I can tell you in a closing situation when you're getting ready to make the sale is to remember this. Once you've made the offer and put it on the table, he who speaks first loses. You have to be comfortable with the silence. You say, you just let me know what option works best for you and how I can support you. ... And shut up. Okay? That's also sales, like psychology. You got to be quiet. Because what's now happened is you have presented a valuable option for them to get out of their pain and offered the solution to enhance their lives. You're giving them an option to invest in themselves. You start interjecting and doing what we call word vomit on them, they're just going to run them off. Because now you're going to let them off the hook. Let them think about it. Let them work on it. Let them consider it. Let them crunch the numbers. Let them ask whatever questions. But you let them. And you don't say anything. And that's the hardest thing for anybody to learn to do. Now, I embrace the silence and I'm totally fine with it. But it took a while. Okay? Let them figure out how to make it work for them. Okay. I just dropped a whole lot in y'all's lap. What questions, concerns, what do we got going here? How is this making you feel? Does this make you feel uncomfortable for Miss Lisa to be this blunt about the sales process?
No, I thought it was great, and actually, it's very informational and very helpful. To be
Okay.
honest
Yeah,
with you, it gives me a direction.
yeah, me too. I agree.
Okay.
I definitely agree. This is great.
Okay, good.
And even with them negotiating with the prices, because sometimes they may feel overwhelmed. So when you do allow them to feel like they're actually in charge of the money part, then I mean that's when you know they're going to stay because they have options in a way to figure out how to uh, help themselves and make the obtain the money and all that, come
Yep.
up with the funds,
Yep.
and they don't feel pressured. Like so,
Yep.
it's more doable.
Yes. Yes. And I will tell you guys, when you have people that are literally investing in themselves, it might feel like it's a lot of money to ask somebody to pay. And you might feel like, who am I to even charge that or ask somebody to pay me that? But first of all, you're here because you have been chosen and you know you're chosen and you know you have gifts and you know this is where you want to be. And this is what you want to do. And you have a lot to offer. And you need to be able to offer that. I can't offer things on YouTube as free content, basically, right? Because nobody's paying for YouTube. I can't offer that free if I don't have the rest of my stuff paid for. Period. So you're actually, at the end of the day, able to help more people when you can set up a business that is sustaining you. You could do it with both. And I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow. Please don't. If you're working, please don't. You can do this for a while, part time. You could do it forever part time if you want. But you're going to also be able to, again, be able to do more for more when you have more. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to have a comfortable life. And there's nothing wrong with wanting that while you're working your purpose. Just because it happens to be a spiritual purpose or an energy healing based purpose doesn't mean that it's wrong to do it. Okay? So this really does allow you to help more people. All right? Okay. Whew. We've done a lot today. Oh my God. I hope that okay, good. I am going to stop this recording.